Joining us now on the phone as he's smarter than Mooch. He's not coming to the stadium for work yet. Mooch was suited and booted completely.
Why is Mooch ready to go already?
I mean, honestly, he looked like he was a banker, like he was about to do his banking for me, the way he looked.
Unbelievable.
He is, for the 7th year in a row, part of our first-round coverage live on the NFL Draft. Love having him. He is Stanford football coach David Shaw. How are you, Coach?
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Appreciate you joining. All right, let's get right into it. Do you think Baker Mayfield is worthy of the number 1 overall pick, Coach?
You know, that's such a tough call because we talked about this the other day. You know, I have half of my brain just watching the film is this kid is so exciting, and the other half of my brain says there has not been a successful first-round draft pick under 6'2" in a long, long time. So this will be a tough call for me. I agree with Mike Mayock. Sam Darnold is a smart pick. Sam Darnold is a safe pick. It has less potential for the bottom falling out. And if you're the Cleveland Browns, I don't think you can roll the dice again.
So you're a guy who has seen Darnold and Rosen up close. Which one do you think is most pro-ready, Coach?
Honestly, I think they're both pro-ready. I think they're different. I think Sam Darnold kind of has the edge just because of his mobility, his athleticism to extend plays as well as hurt you with his legs. But when you just watch a guy throw the football, Josh Rosen throws as well as anybody that's come out of college football since Andrew Luck.
So when it is all said and done, how do you see the draft going tonight, or based on what you think should be done, Coach?
You know, the common sense approach, which you and I both know isn't always what teams do when they have these picks. Would love to see Sam Darnold go number 1 because I think it'd be great to kind of stabilize that franchise. All the quarterbacks that have gone through there, I think this young man is athletic. He's smart. He's a gym rat. He's going to be all the way there with them. I think the Giants at number 2, and so many people calling for a quarterback, which I understand. But Saquon Barkley, you team that up with the tight end they took last year, with the receiving core that they have, and the quarterback that they have, it immediately puts them, I think, right back up there at the top of the NFC. And then after that, you know, it's a little bit of a crapshoot. I personally would love to see Josh Rosen, but I know a lot of people are talking Baker Mayfield at the Jets, but they have to take a quarterback, and both those guys do make sense for the Jets.
David Shaw, Stanford Cardinal head football coach, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, the day of the NFL Draft. We're finally going to get some answers to all this. He's joining me right here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, Josh Allen and the tweets that came out today, you as a coach that's been around millennials, been around kids, been around social media, and also been in draft rooms yourself in your stints in the National Football League, what do you think the evaluation of Josh Allen is right now as you and I are talking with the clock about to start in a few hours?
Yeah, there are a lot of conversations because you talk about red flags. The difference between something that's a red flag and something that's a true concern about a young man's character and who he is. All the questions really have been answered by everybody at Wyoming, and all the dirt digging that everybody does before this day ever comes. Sometimes things come back from high school, and as so many people know, in high school, these young men don't understand that these things stay there for a long time. We did a session with our guys where we had a group come in and go all the way back since they started their social media accounts and go back and look and see if these things actually represent you. Because a lot of these guys do things without thinking. They think they're just talking to their friends without putting things out there into the atmosphere, which is really what happens now. So I don't know that it's a huge concern, but I know a lot of people raised eyebrows in the last 24 hours.
Well, how do you think Allen's going to be received when he walks into a locker room by whichever team that drafts him?
You know, this is a big man's game. You know, all you can do is puff your chest out, walk out there, say, hey, you know what, that was me being a young kid. That's not who I am. And when he walks in the locker room, he says, okay, judge me now from here on out. And I think he's going to be able to do that based on his track record and everything that's been said about him during his entire time at Wyoming.
So based on what you know about going through social media accounts and due diligence, et cetera, do you think that NFL teams knew about this report potentially before it came out last night, that everybody's already who has any clue about the due diligence process and wanting somebody that they would have done this, like say the Bills would have done this on Allen if this is the quarterback that they covet to trade up for?
There's a very, very good chance because it takes very minimal effort. Most teams use different investigative services that are not very expensive and not very difficult. This is not a very difficult thing to go back and find. So a lot of teams I know, they do that on every single draftable person to go all the way back. So I'm sure a lot of people knew about it. Probably didn't come up because some people say, hey, you know what, that was high school. A lot of people do and say it's dumb things in high school before they're even, 17 years old. So I'm sure some people knew about it and didn't think it was a big deal.
A few more minutes left with Coach David Shaw, Stanford Cardinal head football coach, part of the NFL Network's coverage tonight. That will be simulcast on Fox. Of the draft rooms that you have been in your time in professional football, the Baltimore Ravens is certainly one that you have some experience knowing the DNA, and obviously Ozzie Newsome making his final first-round draft selection of his general managing career. Do you see Lamar Jackson as a fit and something that the Baltimore Ravens would be willing to endeavor, knowing what that room is all about?
I do. You have an established quarterback, obviously, and so this is a young man that can come in. You can try to groom and get a chance to grow. Greg Roman is there, and Greg Roman has a lot of success with the San Francisco 49ers with a certain Colin Kaepernick. So don't be surprised there with the things that they could do formationally and selection-wise to have, even if he's not a starter initially, to maybe have a package that goes in, not just to run the ball, but just to have a little package to get this guy's feet wet. But I can see a lot of teams giving this guy a chance to play.
Well, it's been 13 years since you were last in that draft room. Is that something you think that needs to be run by Steve Bisciotti before they go and pull the trigger on?
I think Steve Bisciotti is in the room, but you're also talking about one of the top general managers in the history of the NFL, and Ozzie Newsome. His track record is unbelievable. The guys that he's picked, they're looking for certain characteristics, and he's very, very open and very honest and very direct with all the guys in the draft room, coaches, scouts, and even Steve Bisciotti. A clear vision that he has for building a football team. So everybody that's on the top of his list has been discussed and run over, and today now, as Ozzie say, today's just his game day to make those calls.
So tonight, if the Colts are on the clock and they don't trade out of that pick, and they have a choice between a top defensive player or Quentin Nelson, what do you say to that, Coach David Shaw?
As Andrew Luck's former head coach and now very good friend, I would say take the guard. take Quentin Nelson. You know, the front of that pocket is so important. This guy's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's proven that without a lot of help around him. If we can secure the front, so that he can push up in the pocket and do the unbelievable things he's capable of doing now that he's getting back healthy and ready to go out there, he'd love to take the guard and really start to secure that front around the franchise.
All right. And your guys, who are your guys that we're going to expecting to hear about over this next few days, Coach?
Well, Harrison Phillips, Horrible Harry, they call him, a defensive tackle. 100 tackles this year as a defensive lineman, which is just such a rare thing. Very productive, big physical guy. And Justin Reed, these two guys may fall somewhere in that late first-round area. Justin has speed and athleticism and position flexibility. Those two guys have a chance to impact teams right away.
All right. Enjoy. Well, I guess when you kind of get in the car to come out here, when are you going to come join the party here?
A little bit closer to game time. I'm not quite like Mooch being the early bird. I'm fine with the second worm.
You're on the late bus today? Is that what you're saying? Are you a late bus guy?
Oh, absolutely. Otherwise, I'll just be pacing around the whole stadium.
We'll see you over here later on, Coach. Thanks for the call. We'll chat soon.
All right, take care, Rich.
Yep, you got it. It's David Shaw.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.